Gotham, a crazy podcast about DC, with your hosts E-Rock and PD. When we speak up, get your geeks up, cause you know you about to get geeked up. So sit back, relax, and get comfy. Lose your mind like Solomon Grundy, and listen to a show that won't be forgotten, coming straight out of Gotham.
And hello, everybody. Just a little, I got a little holes in my throat. Jeez. Welcome to another episode of Straight Outta Gotham, episode 128. We are a fandom pop culture podcast and a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by Batman on Film. Make sure you check out all the other great shows on our network by heading on over to BOF, clicking the drop down, and just picking something to listen to. Pick one, just one. Hopefully it's ours. I am your co-host from the other side of the Hudson River, a senior contributor to Batman on Film. I am Peter R. Vera, and today we're recording on September 14th, 2023. And we always have a great show for you today. That's a lot of always. But I'd like to remind you, our faithful audience, if you take the time to rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts, when we read your review on air, you just won a Straight Outta Gotham monthly prize back. So please enter, please be in it to win it. I want to give you some stuff. You want to get some free stuff. So who doesn't like free stuff? Now, let me introduce you to my partner in crime, Robert Sala's only hope at quarterback. Ladies and gentlemen, the champion of Long Island, the governor of Schlong Island, Eric Holzman.
Hello there. Thank you, Pete, always for that rousing introduction.
Arousing, interesting choice of words.
Yes, I always appreciate the energy that you bring. So yes, it's very, very nice. Thank you.
How are you doing? First of all, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
You're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You've recovered. It's been less than a week.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
I'm numb to this, so I'm used to this stuff happening, so it doesn't bother me.
All right. You want to say it by name. It's just we're just going to talk about it vaguely.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, everyone who listens to the show or follows me on social media knows what we're talking about. So, but I'd rather not mention it by name. I'd rather just put it to the side.
Just going to bottle the pain.
It happened. It happens a lot, and I'm just used to it by now. You know.
Do you think there's got to be somebody who put money on this, right? Like someone had to have placed a bet in Vegas that he gets hurt, right?
When I know people who, when it happened,
Zaslav even said it. We saw the tweet.
Yeah, that was hysterical. Whoever did that was hysterical. No, like when the trade, even when the trade went down, like Jet fans were like, "Yeah, he's gonna get hurt." Like right away. Like we just knew, we knew it was going to happen. So like, that's why I'm saying if you have low expectations to begin with, you can't be disappointed. So I expected something bad to happen, and it did. And
I think it's actually better he gets hurt in week one.
I agree.
Like week 13 when you're like, I don't know.
I agree. Yeah. What happened with Favre when they got Favre? Yeah. When they got Favre and they were 8-3 and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
And that was worse. Like, I agree with that. I would have been much more upset if they had gone through the early part of the season and looked really, really good, and then he gets hurt, and then it's downhill from there. So, whatever, we'll see.
This is it, though. This is Zach Wilson's redemption story.
That's what we're hoping. That's the hope, is that he learned something from Aaron in 6 months and having a real coaching staff around him this time, guys who have been in the positions before.
I think the key to Zach Wilson was keeping him away from the MILFs. I think that's what the key was, because we haven't heard, there hasn't been any MILF news around Zach this offseason.
Well, after his first 2 seasons, I'm not sure many MILFs wanted to be with him anyway. So
he's still making a lot of money.
He is. That's true. He does make a lot of money. But yeah. So
and now he's back to being the starting quarterback of the Jets.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
He's back, baby.
I just take a deep breath now and push forward. There's nothing else you can do.
I laughed when our buddy Chris assumed I was a Jet fan and that I brought this on myself. I laughed because I was like, no.
He didn't. Did he answer me? I feel bad. I snapped at him pretty quick.
Well, you were hurting.
Yeah.
Well, he's hurting too. He's still sore. He hasn't scored yet.
Dude, man, that was being a Jets fan, I've seen some bad losses, but that one for an opening day at home, whew, man, that was.
Especially after you spend an offseason just running your mouth about
I mean, they added some pieces. Yeah, they added pieces too. Like they thought the offensive line was supposed to be really good. Everything in that game was just terrible for the Giants.
That's one way. I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
I'll just be objective. Got to be objective. But yeah, we'll see now though. Now they get the Cardinals. Like they went from one end of the spectrum, one of the best teams in the NFC, to arguably the worst. So now we'll see how that works for the Giants.
Does Kyler Murray still play?
He does, but he's either out injured or suspended. I'm not sure which one.
Suspended? What the hell did he do?
Could have been. He's crazy, man. It could have been.
Is he really? Okay.
Like, well, he doesn't
play baseball.
He doesn't read the playbook. Like, he doesn't study. He doesn't do any prep. It's the weirdest thing in the world. I don't get it, but
really? I didn't know.
Yeah, he's not exactly a compliant football player.
I knew he was a big prospect for the A's before he played football. That's all
he had a chance. He did. He had a chance to play baseball too. Jeff Samardzija, he famously chose baseball over football, and
but I was kind of hoping we get like a Bo Jackson type player.
Oh, I don't know.
Samardzija went from being a wide receiver at Notre Dame to being a starting pitcher for various teams. Yeah. So he didn't even try to be in the NFL, I don't think.
No, he didn't. It was something with his dad. I think his dad was a baseball prospect and he never made it. So he was like, he wanted to go towards baseball because of his father.
Interesting. He's probably a better football player than baseball player.
He was a good pitcher.
He was all right. He was all right. Yeah. He was like a number 4, number 5 pitcher.
He wasn't great, but yeah. I mean, but like everyone says all the time, he's not going to have all these other issues to deal with later in life because he played a less brutal sport.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's why Barry Sanders retired.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Megatron. Too.
Yep, that's true.
That's it.
Even Jim Brown, way back when, he retired.
Did he retire early?
Yeah, 29 or 30. He was 29 or 30 when he retired.
And the Browns went with him, right?
Yeah.
Both versions.
Yeah, they haven't. I mean, it's weird. That's another team that can sympathize with what happens to the Jets is the Browns.
Well, Cleveland in general. Sorry, Doug, but like up until LeBron beating the.
It's true. The Indians / Guardians. Yeah.
Yeah, the Indians have had very rough success in the World Series. So
yeah, so it's been some cities and their sports teams just have bad luck.
Yeah, Minnesota had a good run in the 90s with their baseball team. Their football team hasn't won anything, just so Gary knows that. The baseball team's won, the football team hasn't. The baseball team has won.
It's been a long time, though, for even for the baseball team. It's been
all
a
right,
long
well,
time.
You're not the NCAA. You can't just take them away.
No, I know. I'm not taking them away. I'm just saying it's been a long time. I mean, please, Yankee fans get mad. We haven't won in 14 years. Imagine it's been how many years has it been?
Was it 93?
Yeah, man. That's a long time.
They beat Atlanta 93 because 94 was a strike.
I thought Toronto was 93.
Toronto, yeah, maybe it was 91. Yeah, Toronto might be 92, 93 because they defended the championship through the strike. Yeah.
So I remember I remember Joe Carter's home run and
I was way too young for that stuff.
Yeah, but I remember that.
I remember my first World Series. Everything was like 95. I have vague memories of 95, but I remember 96 very vividly. Very vividly.
Well, I can understand. I can understand why you're a fan of the Yankees now, if that was your first memory.
94, I remember a little bit, but I remember the Rangers winning everything. But actually, I got the finals confused. I thought the Rangers beat the Flyers. They beat the Canucks.
Yeah.
I thought when they beat the Flyers, they won the Stanley Cup when I was younger. I got confused.
Well, I don't know. Never a dull moment in the sports world, though. So we'll see what happens. Hockey and basketball start soon, so.
All nicked up. What you gonna do? Eric Colesman talking to you.
Recorded last night. Yep.
Oh, there you go. That's it.
But yeah, even then, like the same day Rogers gets hurt, we heard about Dominguez's elbow. Like it was. I'm not worried about that. That's fine. I'm not worried about it either because he's young and. A lot of guys get that now.
if he was a pitcher, it'd be a problem. But like, I believe Harper had the same injury and came back in like a few months in the season. So
I mean, it's just for teams I root for, it was a bad day. Let's just put it that way. It wasn't a good day, news wise. But we move on, we move forward because, like my father used to say, doesn't matter, Eric. You still got to get up and go to. At the time, it was school every day. I still have to go to work. Life goes on.
You got to check out the Lost Kingdom and the ocean, right?
Yeah, man.
You have your aquatorial duties.
I mean, we could jump right in if you want to that.
I mean, if you just want to keep throwing water puns out there.
But no, yeah, there was a big write-up in Entertainment Weekly about James Wan spoke about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, so we got a little bit of information. Did the trailer even drop yet?
I don't know, but I believe it was from their set visit like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we got the teaser trailer earlier this week, and the trailer is supposed to drop today, but I've been tracking and I haven't seen anything yet, so
it'll definitely happen after we record.
Right, I'm sure. So, but yeah, he finally spoke about it. He in the article he discusses that when they visited 2 years ago on the set and what's changed and how hard it's been and all the pushbacks and everything that's the date that kept changing because of COVID and then because of the change obviously in the DC leadership. He did specifically address the fact that while he had to be mindful of what's going on around him, that this is still very much an Aquaman movie, and he had an idea to build. He wanted to build like a Seven Kingdoms type thing, which I did. This is the first time I had heard that, so I thought that was a pretty cool tidbit of information. A little bit of insight of what it's about. Black Manta, as we know, is the villain. He has in possession of the Black Trident, which gives him the ability to command an ancient evil. That was one of the things that stood out. Now, is the Black Trident something that's in lore, Pete? Is that something that's we've heard before?
To be honest, I'm not really too sure because I was too amazed by Storm the Seahorse.
That was awesome. Yes, that was awesome.
Seeing Aquaman and Topo ride like a translucent blue seahorse really kind of a distraction. It really took advantage of my ADHD. I have to look up the Black Trident. I'm not sure, but I'm positive that there's probably some sort of equivalent of ancient Atlantean artifact Manta needs to steal to kill Aquaman. Like it just feels like it's been done before.
Right.
The things in the article that really stood out to me were one, the Batman situation. He said he did both. He won't commit to either one being in the movie. We all knew they both shot it both ways.
Yep.
But he also said at the same time, this is also unconnected to the DCEU, which I took as there is no Batman in this movie. He also says, he also seems like he's not a fan of connected universes. He seems like he kind of wanted to do Aquaman because he thought he could build this out a little bit more than he actually got to, because I believe it's all going to just come to an end after this. I don't think James Gunn has much influence on what James Wan does outside of essentially the ending and how he wants to wrap it up with a bow. Right. But I think James Wan made a James Wan movie. I don't think that, I just think he's got enough clout that he can do what he needs to do because he's made a lot of money for New Line and Warner Brothers. What else? But overall it was really interesting. I like that it's a bromance. I just hope some of the stuff, I wonder, is it PR bullshit or is he being honest? And it's hard to decipher because I can't read body language or hear tone. I'm just reading. Right. But I don't know what was the plan or whatnot. I mean, they say Amber Heard wasn't always supposed to be in this movie, essentially. She was always more of a side character, which I'm thinking about, where's Volko? Volko's, we haven't seen anything about Willem Dafoe. Right. And Volko was a huge part of the first movie. So, that kind of makes sense. Mera and Volko were kind of tied at the hip in Atlantis while things were going down, right? With Orm in the castle or the ships or whatever. They were always, the three of them seem to always be together when she's not with Aquaman. So that didn't really bother me. It kind of makes sense. And I dig the bromance aspect. And then Peter Safran comparing it to 48 Hours, which is one of my favorite movies with Nolte and Murphy. So I'm hearing a lot of things I really like. I've also heard for 2 years that this is one of the worst movies ever made. So it's I don't know what to think, but I'm going to go in there and hopefully enjoy this thing.
Well, the new trailer actually it has been released.
Oh, okay.
So I'm watching it now. I won't talk about it.
Do you want to pause the show, watch it, and then come back?
Yeah, we could actually. So let's do that. Let's do that.
Sure.
All right, everybody. So yes, we took a little bit of a break, and we watched the trailer came out while we were recording. We took a little bit of a break. We watched it. Now we're here to give you our first reaction. Pete, go ahead. You start. I'll go second. For
like a movie that's supposed to be really bad, this seems to be everything I've ever wanted out of an Aquaman movie. Like Manta looks absolutely jacked and insane. I dig his motivation and what he's going to do. Visually, it looks beautiful. It's like Atlantis looks incredible. We get to see a lot more. It looks like we get to see more of the culture and the people and how they live, and Arthur taking over, and he's got a family, and just there is some sort of growth here. Right, you could see Arthur kind of he's kind of changed a little bit. He's got responsibilities now, and the whole monologue in the beginning explains that. And yeah, it seems like everyone is back. Except we mentioned Willem Dafoe like seconds earlier. He's the only one I didn't see in the trailer.
Right.
So maybe he was just unavailable. But yeah, I mean, it looks like everyone's back, and I'm really excited, man. The action looked good. I can't wait to see the Trench. They look like they have a heavy part in this movie, and I like the lore and the mythology of the Atlantean people. Like I think that's cool that we're going to get some more of that. We also didn't see Dolph. I know Dolph's in the movie, but we didn't see him in the trailer. I don't think so.
No, we did not.
So maybe they're there because I know Dolph has a big part as well. So yeah, I'm pumped, man. I don't know. Like this looks like A+ Aquaman to me. It really does. I dig it. I thought it was funny. It was adventurous. It's just a trailer, but like now I'm like, okay, like I want to see why this is so bad.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what people saw when they actually saw whatever screening of it that they saw. Like it makes you kind of wonder just why. And again, like you said, it's just a trailer, so we don't know.
I think like if they've done reshoots on this movie, we've seen reshoots Rogue One, and that'd be a fantastic movie. And then again, we all know Justice League and what happened with that. So they're both sides of the coin.
Yeah,
it can go either way.
This looks honestly, the CGI looks as clean a CGI movie that I've ever seen. Very, very clean.
It was really good for a trailer, man.
Yep.
Like I like this CGI more than I did for what's it called? What's the other water movie that came out?
Avatar.
Remember that was the big thing. Like they don't want Avatar to go up against Aquaman because they're afraid the CGI because Cameron's been working on it for like 30 years. Remember that was that was a talking point for a while.
Almost 30 years it felt like, but yeah.
Right.
But no, yeah, everything you said I agree with. He's a father. We saw a little bit of the lad, maybe Aqualad, right? So
no, it's daughter. His daughter.
Oh, it's daughter. Okay,
they have a daughter.
So we saw that. So we have, like you said, growth with Arthur's character. You see him talk to Temuera Morrison. We see his father again, having conversations with him, which was awesome.
You think like, they look like they were drinking real Guinness in that trip, right? Like, there's no way Momoa drinks fake Guinness on set. Like, he's totally pounding real Guinnesses.
I'm sure he can handle a beer.
On a couple Guinnesses anyway, but like,
yeah, but oh man, everything you said. Patrick Wilson looks great back as Orm. I didn't love Black Manta in the first film, but I like more what I saw in this one so far, just in the trailer that we got.
I thought what they did to make Patrick Wilson almost look weak was really good. Like that CGI was good
and too. Old, right? Yeah, like they did. Yeah,
like he's in a prison. Like I think he's like in the, I don't know. He's in like he's in Vegas. Just covered in sand. I don't know where he is. Saudi Arabia, somewhere where there's a lot of sand and desert.
He's in a land prison, I guess, and
which makes sense. Like there's just a lot of cool stuff that like I like that stuff with Aquaman and everything. Like where would the Atlantean prison be? Oh, it would be on land.
Right.
Like, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. And like you said, like we were talking about it, the bromance stuff, you do see a little bit of that between the two of them, the brothers in the trailer. They hint at that. So I think it's gonna.
Some people will call those jokes corny. They will. They're gonna. Of
course,
they'll bring up the MCU comparison, but like whatever. I mean, did the bridge thing? Like whatever. I got the metaphor. Did the joke necessarily nail with me? No, but like whatever. I don't care. It's like every movie has that stupid crap now.
It looked like an entertaining movie. And that's what I think, right? That's what you want from an Aquaman.
Everything I want out of an Aquaman movie, this looks like it has. It looks like it has the royalty aspect, the fact that he's a man caught between two worlds, he's newly king, and Black Manta wants to kick his ass. Like, that's kind of everything I really want.
Yeah. He's still the reluctant king, too, right? He says it he said, we hear him say in the trailer, "This job sucks." Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm sure
like,
it does.
yep. So there's definitely a lot of that to it. I'm really looking forward now, though. I don't know why they were holding this thing back so long.
I bet you it was a CGI thing, if anything. There were some reshoots and some CGI, and there's probably some
But
reshoots because of CGI.
so let's hope now that we get a good marketing push, because you have a couple months. You have the Thanksgiving, all through Thanksgiving season. Obviously, it's Christmas season. Get a big marketing push the toys, whatever they're gonna make for this, push the toys out there.
We saw the blue suit, which is really
Yep.
cool, and so the camouflage effect. I
Yep.
like that. That's an action figure. We know that's coming from McFarlane. I'm sure Spin Master will go crazy. We saw Black Manta sub. He's got a new sub that actually looks more like a hammerhead shark. The first one looked like a stingray.
Yep.
From the first movie. So Manta's tech has gotten interesting. So you definitely see some merch there. And to be honest, Manta's one of the cooler villains in the DCU. He's so ruthless. You know, it's a very personal vendetta between him and Arthur. He blames Arthur for the death of his father, and I feel like basically every iteration. I can't wait to see this. And I loved Yaya in the first movie. And everything he's been in since. You know, I haven't.
He's fantastic. Yes,
I haven't seen Candyman yet. Unfortunately, I'll probably watch that very soon because it's going to be October. But I mean, when he was dude. As Dr. Manhattan, I thought the dude killed it. You know, like I've been a fan of Yaha for a little bit now, and I'm really excited. I can't wait. And it's just good, man. I hope it goes out on a good note, because you know, in that EW article they had mentioned it again, like, hey, if this thing makes money, we've got the Elseworlds label. You know, we could still do this stuff. So, you know, and for the first time, Juan has seemed to be open about expanding his universe, right? Like for years we heard James Wan say, I don't do trilogies. I don't do third movies.
Yeah, he said in the article that he has ideas.
Multiple times. And, you know, and for those people concerned about the reshoots, like he brings up the fact that like in one of the Conjuring movies, the nun was not supposed to be in the movie. That was a reshot. That was a rewrite. It was supposed to be a gigantic, like, I don't know, demon monster thing. And he's like, it just didn't work. So sometimes things come out of the reshoots. So just, you know, we can only hope for the best. I don't know what happens, but we know how this sausage was made, and it seems like it's not very good. But you know, the trailer looks fantastic, so I don't know. Sometimes we know too much information. We just do.
Yeah. Like I said before, what cut of the movie was the screening? So was it before they did the reshoots? Was it after? Was the movie complete? Yeah, like what exactly did those people see? We don't know, but from what I saw from this trailer, again, I like James Wan's movies. Most of them that I've seen, I've enjoyed. So when it comes to that portion of this, I'm very, very confident it's going to be something that I'm going to like. I just hope it resonates with everybody else. That's really what it comes down to. But yeah, so if you guys, if you check out the trailer, you want to talk to us about it, let us know what you think about it, either in our group or on Twitter. Hit us up, as you guys know. We enjoy having the conversations. So let's stick with Aquaman, because there was another director who had the chance to pitch Warner Brothers his Aquaman film, and we're talking about Jeff Nichols, who originally was attached to it in 2014. Warner Brothers had approached him, and he was coming off of Take Shelter and Mud, which were two fantastic films. They were awards. They got a ton of awards. But it never got any further. But he wanted to do the older, battered Aquaman with the hook on his hand and the harpoon, on his hand. The Fallen King, son died in mourning. So he wanted to do a more serious take, obviously, on the Aquaman than what we got from Juan, which makes sense if you know the directors and what their sensibilities are. Definitely makes sense that he would want to do something like that. Are you familiar with Nichols' work, Pete?
I'm not familiar with his work, but his pitch sounds really epic to me.
Yeah,
like that sounds like a movie I want to see. I think that movie would actually benefit from probably being the movie that comes after this version of Aquaman. And this is why I say is because this is why I also don't think that this is why I think shared universe is a problem, because you can't go from like one iteration to another. You're trying to like expand that story forever and ever. At least when in terms of movies, it's just difficult to do, in my opinion. But I would love to see like a Black Label movie like this if they ever want to do it. I don't know. It depends. Like if this new Aquaman movie bombs, they may try to pitch. They may be like, hey, look, we have this idea from back in the day. I mean, how long did they try to pitch BVS? Like, you know, like that was like, what was it, Wolfgang Peterson, like for
Yeah.
decades. So like Warner Brothers will keep these things, lying around up until they want to do them. And they'll save ideas like the Spider and go from like Superman Lives to Wild Wild West. Like, so those things they lay around and they pick them apart and put them in different films or whatever. But, I'd be down for this. I wouldn't mind a more kind of weathered Aquaman, like he's been there. Like Arthur, this Momoa Aquaman is learning on the job. It'd be cool to see him kind of take the Dark Knight Returns angle.
Yeah, or even it be like a Logan, right? Something like Mangold did with Logan.
Yeah,
something like that, where you could have it at Aquaman. The hope should be that this Aquaman 2 does do well, and if they do a third film, like you said, this idea down the road would be a really cool idea. Momoa might even still want to do it unless they wanted to pick somebody else. But I definitely could see this story resonating not only with comic book fans, but just the general audience. This is something that I think people might come see because, again, nothing sells like tragedy for whatever reason. So I think you'd have that angle built into this. But yeah, the pitch sounded really interesting. Definitely something I agree with you. I would want to see this movie. This is something that I would definitely be interested in. A story I would definitely be locked in on and wanted to see more of. So we'll see. But what happens down the road. But yeah, Jeff Nichols is definitely much more of I want to say a serious director, and his stories deal with the human condition. And I do think that this take on Aquaman would definitely have been more along those lines. So
I'd be down for it.
Yeah, I agree. So one guy who we're talking about tragic. It wasn't really tragic, but what happened to his movie wasn't really fair. And David Ayer, we've talked about it in the past. We know there's an Ayer cut out there of Suicide Squad. But he spoke about it recently, and he said that Hollywood, what happened to Suicide Squad is like watching someone you love get, I'll just say it, fucked by someone you hate.
Some people like that stuff though, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's true. There's a fetish out there for everyone, so I agree with that. But he said it broke him.
He likes recording with me. That's why he hasn't quit the show yet.
Not exactly. But Ayer said he was very candid, and he said that shit broke me and that handed me my ass. So I mean, clearly this movie has he wants this thing to come out. Like he needs people to see it, I feel, for his own sanity, which is crazy, but that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like he's never going to do another thing again.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like
comes out.
He's known for like what he wrote Training Day, right? Like he's known, I think, for writing. He's written a few good movies, right? Like his track record is definitely more impressive than not. And This is probably just a stain on his resume. Like, let's just be honest. Like, there was, there's a little bit of blame on Deadpool. There's a little blame on BVS, right? So it's like, he only had like 6 weeks to write it. He's always been on the short end of the stick with this film from day one. They didn't give him any time to really write it. And then when he delivered it, they chopped it all up because of somebody else's movie that wasn't, like now they're blaming Deadpool. For years we were blaming BVS. Now we're blaming Deadpool for the effects of Suicide Squad. And it's just like, yeah, man, I get it. And I agree with you. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm sorry. It's definitely going to be therapeutic when his version of the movie comes out, and I'd love to see it. But at the same time, Aquaman's around the corner, bro. That's my priority. Like, it just is. I feel bad for him. If it comes out 10, 15, 20 years, great. I'll be there. I'll buy it. I'll rent it, whatever I need to do to see it. But that movie is, as far as right now, it's a long time ago. It's a different universe. It's like 7 regimes. The plan has changed. I have just moved on as a fan of DC films, as a fan of the DCEU. DC Comics. I've moved on. I just have. So
right. I mean, both of us, I think, would love to see it. Right. We're not saying that we never want to see this movie, and
I'm someone who
loves to see it.
Get enough content. Like I willingly rewatch the CW shows. Like,
Right.
so give me more. Yeah. Like I'm your guy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think both of us. I know I did, but we've talked about that when we got the first trailer at Comic-Con. I was like, I am so in. I wanted to see that movie.
Yeah.
So I'm in. Like he's preaching to the choir with me.
And I like it. I like all his movies. I haven't seen Bright. That's the one movie of his I haven't seen.
Not great.
I'm sure it isn't, but like it's funny. Like I was changing the icons on my Netflix account yesterday.
Right.
And they have like you could change them to like Will Smith, the purple guy, and somebody else from Bright. And I was like, I haven't watched that movie. I was like, they're still promoting that. Good for them. Where's all the Army of the Dead characters? Just saying. I can't wait till I get somebody from Rebel Moon.
Well, it's funny you're bringing him into the conversation because there was an article where Diane Nelson spoke specifically about Joss Whedon's cut of the Justice League, and she said what a lot of people probably felt at the time, that it was terrible. But I'll read her quote exactly. She says, "My characterization is Josh was a bit of a shiny penny during a time when they were looking for something shiny to grab onto. Yeah, I mean, I thought the final film was terrible. Yeah, I mean, I would have much preferred a darker than I wanted or longer than I'd hoped for Zack Snyder cut than the Frankenstein cut we got in theaters. The Trinity characters of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman should have, by any measure, blown any other superhero movie away, and they didn't." Now, I thought it was funny in that quote how she mentions how bad Whedon's cut is, but she kind of digs Snyder's cut a little bit too.
Yeah, and let's not. Diane was also a part of everything, like
right, she was.
I know she doesn't open up that much. She kind of keeps to herself, and she's probably very wise for doing that. She doesn't get caught in the drama and the BS that can follow. It'll just snowball on you. But she had a hand in all this,
right? Oh, she did.
She did. She was a big part of it. Like she was president of DC Entertainment, blah blah blah. Like she was running a whole branch. She I don't know. It didn't work under her watch either.
No, and I mean she goes on further to talk about Zack Snyder.
And I think she's cool. Like I got no problem with Diane. I appreciate everything she's done. Like a lot of her hard work, resonates with me, and I appreciate it. But
no, she continues to talk about. She says that from what she knew, Zack Snyder was never really considered their kind of Kevin Feige. Like, that's what she said. There was never any serious conversation that said he would be leading the DC slate going forward. I thought that was interesting. She says she feels like there's a place for his type of films in DC, but she doesn't feel like necessarily he should have been the one pushing the narrative. And it turned out that it's not happening. So clearly that was true.
I mean, everyone knows where I stand on this. I just, I think Zack's a great director, and I like Zack's movies. I like probably most of them. I haven't seen the Owl one, and I didn't really like Army of the Dead. But I think when he lost someone with oversight like Nolan, I think Zack kind of runs a little wild. I think he needs someone to kind of keep him in check. That's all. But I dig his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of his movies I've really enjoyed, and some of them I didn't really like. So I mean, I think that's
how many directors can you say about all of them?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much all directors. Their films
except for Nolan. Except for Nolan, at least for me. I know you got beef, but
I don't have
beef. Remember beef, David Ayer, beef, Suicide Squad, beef.
No beef.
I love that scene. That might be my favorite. I love that scene in Suicide because I can just think of Reno. Like I sat next to Reno for Joker, so I watched him get all like giddy and excited like a 12-year-old girl at a Bieber concert. So like I saw that, but then I see Jared Leto just go beef, 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 and I just like see him like inverted and like fetal position while shaking and having like going like an epileptic seizure. He's like, "Oh, Montreal, no beef, no beef."
What's wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you?
That's it. I just like Jared Leto's Joker just sends Reno into like states of like depression and misery.
I hope not depression. I mean,
just for like maybe like 10 seconds. Like, how stupid was this?
Cringe. Yes, I could see him being the cringe part of it. Sure, but depression. I would hope not. That'd be nuts. But yeah, there's no beef with Nolan. I don't know where that comes from in your mind, but okay. Well, one of the articles that we had in the rundown this week, and I loved the story, so I wanted to talk about it, is the Rotten Tomatoes, the impact of Rotten Tomatoes, basically, or what it's done to the movie industry. It's an article in the New Yorker. Pete, I don't know how you found it, but it's a fantastic, fascinating article about how studios would kind of buy reviews and would to basically pump up their Rotten Tomatoes scores, right? And we all know Rotten Tomatoes, how they do things. It's not an exact science. Like, there are so many times I've read a review and I thought that the review was negative, and then I look next to it and it has the tomato and not the green splat mark.
Yeah, it's weird.
I
don't know who's proofreading these things.
Right? Yeah, like, I don't understand it.
No
but
clue.
But yeah, so there's a story out there that a company called Bunker 15 started paying $50 per, like, each review to bump up their Rotten Tomatoes reviewers so they'd write a more favorable review. Now, this was talking about a specific movie called Ophelia, that had Daisy Ridley in it. Specifically that. But there have been people who have speculated about this, say, with the MCU for years.
For years.
Right?
Years, the MCU's been paying, Disney has been paying critics.
Right. So this story kind of leads you that maybe that stuff obviously was going on with a smaller studio and a smaller distribution company, but I don't think Disney would have to do that. But you never know, right?
People who've been saying this about, like, the MCU for years are like the conspiracy theorists of the world.
Right.
I'm not trusting them. They just got lucky. Like, the sun shines on the dirty dog's ass at least once a day, Like, let's be honest here. So they got one right. Congratulations. Yeah. Are people cheating? Yeah. It's called life. People cheat every day. I'm not surprised at this. Do I think it's going around? Do I think Rotten Tomatoes is paying for every MCU movie to be 90%? No, I don't, because it's not working anymore. Then you gotta give people raises. You gotta start paying them like $2.50 a review, because your $50 ain't cutting it
right
anymore. I don't know. Like, I've always said, like, Rotten Tomatoes is, people look at it. I don't even think they read the reviews. They just look at the score and they make their decision. And that's kind of a bummer, because it's like, I don't know, why don't you go see it and make your own decision? But
right. And a lot of people also believe that, and what lends to this thinking is, how sometimes a movie will come out and weeks before we'll get early reviews and those scores will be really high, right? You'll have it'll be like a 90% or an 80 something percent just off of like 15 reviews. And that's what people see, and they could use it in their marketing for like the first weekend. And it does kind of lend to that theory that, yeah, someone's paying these to get these early reviews up so that they can at least push the opening weekend. And then what happens after the fact. So yeah, the article obviously goes into this a little bit more in depth, and it mentions specific movies. It mentions Ant-Man, and Quantumania debuted at 79%. And then days later, after more critics, it was in the 40s. Like, this was just kind of leaning what I just said. So look, Rotten Tomatoes it's a source, right? I say this all the time. There are a bunch of sources out there that can give you information on things, but it's still your job to read into it further and get to the root of it.
Oh, people are so damn lazy, they're not going to do that.
Exactly. And that's the biggest issue I have with Rotten Tomatoes, is that, yeah, it's fine. I look at something and I say, oh, this movie's a 75%. Okay. The critics are whatever on it. And then it doesn't make me not go see a movie, though. But the problem is,
I think it's pretty spot on usually. If it's like, if a movie, like, I remember, like, I was like, when I saw the BVS, I remember BVS, I'll go back to BVS. I checked it a lot, because I'm like, oh man, it's just dropping. It keeps going down and down and down and down. I was like, people are not liking this movie. And that was like my first indicator. So, like, I use it for like a pulse of the people, if anything. Like, okay, this is what people think of this movie critically. This is what people think of this movie as an audience score. Like, I'll go back to, we go to Aquaman. We had a bad critic score, but a great audience score, right? Like, how many times have we seen that?
Yeah.
And like, I go and I sit there and I'm like, oh, I enjoyed this movie because I'm not a pretentious film critic, or I don't try to be online. So it's just, I'm just a dude who likes movies. So I like mostly everything to begin with, unless it's like really bad. But what are you gonna do? It's just Rotten Tomatoes for me is never the deciding factor whether I go see a movie or not. But I think for a lot of people it is.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing people do now. And like they quote like Brett Ratner and Martin Scorsese in the article saying like it's gonna be the death of the industry, and they even say things like people just see that number and they don't actually read the entire review. They read the number and then maybe the little blurb that they put in there, the quote from the review, and that's it. So yeah, I mean we've talked about this in the past. I think all of us in this space who talk about movies and stuff have talked about Rotten Tomatoes at one point or another. But it does not surprise me that they try to manipulate, the system by paying for their scores. I mean, it happens in all walks of life. So,
yeah,
but,
sorry.
Yeah. So, people, I think the moral of the story for me is stop being robots. If you want to go see something, don't let someone else's opinion impact you. Just go see for yourself. That's it.
And if somebody doesn't like something, it doesn't have any impact whether you like it or not.
Exactly. I don't, use it as, again, this is a tool.
I like Batwoman. I enjoy watching it. Eric doesn't. And that's fine, but he's wrong.
But yeah, just use it as a tool. Like if it's okay to say, okay, yeah, this is like 75%, whatever. Okay, I'm going to go see it. But if something is 20% and it has actors in it that you like or a director that you like, don't let it stop you from seeing it. Go see for yourself. Don't stop believing. All right, so we have a shuffle going on, a calendar shuffle yet again. We feel like we're getting these a lot more lately because of the strike.
This seems like standard business these days.
Yes, but Marvel moves some things around. So let's quickly go down the line. Not Loki. Loki is still coming out on October 6th. That is still scheduled and sticking to their scheduled time. Hawkeye was originally announced for November 29th of this year. Now that's shifted to January of... I'm sorry, not Hawkeye, Echo. Has now shifted to January 2024. The X-Men 97, which is kind of the sequel to the original cartoon that everyone loves, it was originally planned for this fall. Now it'll premiere next year, early in 2024. And then Agatha, House of Harkness, or Coven of Chaos, or now Darkhold Diaries, whichever it actually is.
That show's gone through more name changes than anything I can think of. I
know. It was supposed to be this winter.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be pushed almost a year till next fall. Ironheart, which we got a glimpse of Riri Williams in Wakanda Forever, is not on the schedule anymore. It is finished shooting, but it's not. I guess the post-production hasn't been completed. So, same thing with Daredevil, Born Again. It was supposed to debut in 2024, but it's paused in mid-production. So we do not know when that'll get picked up. But the moral of the story is the strikes are continuing to have their impact. And we're probably going to see a lot more of these guys. So just so you know.
They said October was going to be the magic month. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they made any progress.
No.
The only thing I think everyone seems to be unified on is they hate Iger and Zaslav.
It's true. That is very true.
And that includes Jet fans because he predicted the injury.
That is very true, man. Both of those guys have kind of been in the crosshairs. They've been the most vocal though too, so they're bringing it on themselves.
Well, they're billionaire men with a lot of with no fucks to give. So
exactly, they don't care. Clearly, they don't care. If they cared, this thing would probably be over. So I don't think they care, but these two guys have taken are getting all the heat, and I guess rightfully so. Like reportedly they're stunned. That they're getting all this.
They have to be so out of touch with reality and how people actually people just kiss their ass all day. To be honest.
Yeah,
they probably they haven't heard somebody say a bad word about them in probably like 15 years.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But everyone's looking for somebody to blame. They've even hired the Levinson Group, which is a huge crisis PR firm. The AMPTP. They've, like I said, they've hired a PR firm to kind of control a negative PR firm to kind of control the narrative and kind of deal with the blowback that Iger and Zaslav and who are the other ones in it? Sarandos and Langley and all the other.
I don't like knowing of people who make a lot more money than I do. I like to think those people don't exist. This way I think I make a decent salary.
Well, yeah, I hear you with that. But yeah, Dana Walden, Alex Burbank from Disney, Mike Hopkins and Jennifer Salke from Amazon, Ted Sarandos from Netflix, Donna Langley from Universal, and of course David Zaslav from Warner Brothers are the faces of this thing for the, I guess, quote unquote bad guys, if you want to say. And yeah, they don't understand why they're getting all this heat. But I mean, when you hear the proposals, it's kind of hard for me to not agree with people. Like,
yeah, I mean, Bryan Cranston kind of laid it out in layman's terms for me not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like one part of the deal is like their contracts or their residuals rely on DVD sales and stuff like that, physical media. And he's like, well, guess what? It's dead. Streaming took over. Things got to be changed. And all of a sudden the studio's like, no, we're good. You guys got a residual plan. He's like, no, that doesn't work anymore. I was like, oh, okay. That's a valid point. Okay, cool. Like I get that. Like, because it's like, all right, you guys are on strike. Like, I get it. Like, I know they're on. I think they deserve to make a reasonable wage and whatnot in their residuals and what. But like, to have someone just kind of put it down in layman's terms was a little bit helpful for me. I'm not a huge business guy, so that's a Wado thing. Like he can crunch the numbers and get down and dirty with it in an Excel sheet. I can't do that.
Yeah, that is definitely something more up his alley.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that. But no, it's just it. I don't know. I've been in negotiations before, and I don't. It's hard for me to read these articles and really get into it because I'm not privy to the conversations. So I really don't know what's going on. I'm
sure we're not getting a third of the information.
Right. So I like not to speculate, and I try to just be as impartial as possible. Obviously, I'm usually going to be on the side of the creatives because it's their work, in my opinion, that's being that's being undervalued here. So yes, the creatives to me.
You never sided with the greedy CEO?
No, I can't.
Never?
Not in something like this. Yeah, not with something like this. Like if I think they're being wrongfully accused or portrayed, I'll say it. But I don't know in this instance. I think they've been incredibly out of touch, like you said before, with the comments that they've made. They sound really out of touch with reality. So they're not doing themselves any favors. And then with Zaslav specifically, I mean, we've been dealing with him now since the merger. He's made a lot of...
Well, you personally.
Yeah. He's made a lot of moves that were unfavorable. I'll say that. So he's not helping himself anything in the court of public opinion. But, I mean, that's not his job. His job is to make money for Warner Brothers. And that's what his job is. So my sentimental side says, yeah, he's a jerk. He's an idiot. But my head, my brain, when I think about it, I'm like, he's just trying to do what he's paid to do. So
he's a shrewd businessman.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. I do wish this thing obviously would just, they'd come to some kind of agreement. We all like consuming this entertainment, and I just kind of want to hear that it's back on, but I don't want the creatives to take any less than they deserve. Like, they should get what they deserve. So it's tough. It's going to be tough to see. Hopefully this thing ends soon, but I don't feel bad for the CEOs at all. Not at all.
Those guys make enough money. They're fine.
Yep. So us being Batman fans, we've been exposed to a lot of great villains. I would say probably the best, and no, not probably, definitely the best in all of
Danny DeVito's Penguin from Batman Returns. Yeah.
But apparently the Air Force is developing a new type of device that is similar to the freeze ray, the freeze gun used by Mr. Freeze. which was interesting when I was reading this article, and they actually mention the person actually mentions Mr. Freeze, Mr. Freeze's gun.
Amazing.
Which is amazing. But it just tells you the reach that that Batman specifically has had in not only our daily day-to-day lives, but even in the lives of people like NASA engineers and Air Force and Space Force and all these other people.
I hope it looks like Joel's gun from Batman.
Me too. But apparently it's a plasma that can cool things really, really fast.
Interesting.
Yeah. And again, it said its plasma jet is like a laser beam. It's like a lightning bolt. It can be extremely localized. And like Mr. Freeze's gun instantaneously freezes people, this apparently does the same thing. So we have life imitating art now.
That's it.
So it's a very cool story, guys. If you read it, it's posted, of course, on the SOG Twitter and the SOG page on Facebook. You guys can read it about it, but it's an article in the Independent, and you guys can check that out and let us know what you think, because it's interesting. Very interesting story.
All right, Eric, are you ready?
Ready for what?
Your big weekend.
Oh yeah. I will be going to Dallas to watch the Jets play the Cowboys this weekend.
Oh, Big E and Big D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to the trip, even with everything happening. Looking forward to the trip, going with a couple of buddies. Hopefully I get to see Bill. Hopefully Mance, I told you before he came on, Mance fine. Hopefully I get to see him. He told me he's going to be down there.
Mm-hmm.
Chapman too. He's going to be down there. We talked about linking up as well. So it'd be cool to but cool to just hang out with these guys again if I get the chance, see them.
What are you going to do? You walk out of there. Zach Wilson is the game of his life. 55-0. You shut out the Cowboys.
Oh my God.
Double nickel on the most vaunted defense you've ever heard of in the NFC. Like, what are you going to do? Who are you going to troll more, Bill or Giants fans?
I'm not going to troll Giants fans.
Literally a week later of getting embarrassed, Danny Dimes on his ass. Zach Wilson goes into the stadium that God built.
That, honestly, the last part you brought up is the main reason I'm happy I'm going. I've heard so many great things about that stadium. I really
about Jerry World.
Yeah, I really want to see what it's like.
I've only seen it from a distance. I've actually. In 2017, I was able to get Rangers tickets to the old ballpark in Arlington, and that now is converted to I believe a high school football field.
Probably in Texas.
I believe they use it for football. I believe they repurposed the building. They didn't tear it down, which I think is great because it's still very young. I thought, but I'd love to see Jerry World and the new Globe Life Field. So enjoy it. I've been to American Airlines Center.
Right when we were down there.
Play. That was cool. It was cool. I like going to different buildings. So that was fun. And, if I ever get a chance to go down again, I want to go to see the Stars play. So.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's a competitive game. Obviously I'm worried, but I'm hoping it's a competitive game at least.
I don't think anybody's scoring too many points, man. I think this is going to be like a 9-6 game.
Oh, I don't know. I hope it's not that low, but I do think it'll be low scoring. I agree with you. I do think that. Because
I just see the narrative now, the Jets, if the Jets win, everyone's like, Zach couldn't get us a touchdown. We had field goals. All this, he's a horrible quarterback. It's like, I could deal with this again for 2 years.
Dude, I don't care if they win 15-14 on 5 field goals by Zerline.
Oh, someone's going to complain that he couldn't drive down the field and score a touchdown. It happens every week.
Oh, I agree. That's something that a quarterback should be able to do is score touchdowns. But hey, as long as they win the game, that's all I care about. I do not care how it's done. Like they won on Monday on a punt return from a undrafted rookie free agent.
I got to say this though, the Jets got to keep that helmet.
Yeah, I love the helmet.
That helmet and that logo, that's the logo. Like get rid of that stupid second version of the Namath logo.
Yeah. Yep.
Get rid of that. That thing's horrible. Either you go with the original logo or you go with the Esiason logo. Pick one.
I liked that logo when they went back to it. When Parcells
I thought it was good. Yeah.
Because he was trying to change the culture and it made sense. Like, let's do that. But it's been long enough.
Was that Parcells' call?
Yeah, he was the one who wanted to do it. Yep.
Okay, because I feel like you got to do that. Like, you got to give them like a year in advance. I know you have to. I know for in the NBA, if you change your uniform number, it's got to be like within like a calendar year or something. So I wonder if they had time, but because like they need to make the jerseys.
Yeah, he came in and he wanted to change again. It was all about changing the culture because the team was 1-15 the year before.
Because
So
I also think nobody has white helmets anymore except for the Cardinals.
that's true. That's fair.
Oh no, San Diego or LA, the Chargers. Go Chargers, go! You remember that?
Yes.
Arnold from that playoff game. Speaking of Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. Good point.
So okay, so yeah, I think there's only 2 now.
Yes.
All right.
So really quick, because there was another trailer that came out recently that we haven't talked about. So we could just touch on it really quick. The Godzilla TV show.
Oh, that looks interesting.
Did you think?
Well, I'm interested in seeing the non-linear storytelling between old man Russell and young Russell.
Yeah,
right?
that does look cool.
That's what's really interesting me. And like I like Godzilla, so like but it does seem eerily similar to the Bryan Cranston role.
It does. The thing that bothered me, man, that last shot that they have of Godzilla is bad. Like, it's a really bad shot. That was not a good looking Godzilla. And I mean, obviously, historically, because of the times, Godzilla has always been kind of a bad look. But
I also want more Kong stuff though. Like I feel like they're going too much with Godzilla.
I don't know. I think
the Kong where we left at the end of Kong vs. Godzilla, where he's in the whole like. I don't know if the next movie will take place in that like little jungle realm or whatever it is, the in between Earth. But like, I kind of want to see a TV series in there. Like, I don't know. There's got to be like natives who live there, right? Like, I don't know. They could be like green people, yellow people. I don't know. So there's got to be some kind of like species of humanoid that live in that world that we just haven't covered.
They're gonna bring the Na'vi in, and it's gonna be Cameron, and it's gonna be Avatar and Godzilla. That's what's coming. We'll see. There we go.
Wow. That's like that's such like a 90s crossover idea.
Right? That would be funny. And it wouldn't come out for another 15 years because Cameron would have to perfect Godzilla and make him real. He'd basically regenerate him.
Can he just make a good Terminator finale?
I know.
Well, I guess Terminator 2 is the end. I guess it's never really a trilogy.
But yeah, I know. But yeah, I didn't love that trailer. Just to say, I don't know if I'll watch it. I wasn't a big fan, but I mean, if someone told me it was good,
Apple TV thing, that's the problem.
Oh, you don't have it?
No.
Oh.
So like, I can't watch it. I'd watch that. Otherwise, I'd watch that Severance show. Like people that they're talking about.
Yep. I know someone who gets all the shows, so I could. If you really wanted to see it, Pete, I could get it for you.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Yeah,
let me see. Probably. I gotta fit it in. Gotta get it in. I have no friggin' time.
I know, man. It's a lot going on in life. A lot going on. But with the fall, though, not for me. I like the fall. I do outdoorsy things in the fall.
You're a big pumpkin spice guy, right?
I like it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a big pumpkin spice guy, but I do like it.
You like pumpkin spice.
I do like it.
I like pumpkins.
But I like the fall. Like, I like apples and cinnamon and all the things that go along with the fall.
You go apple picking?
Yeah, I usually do with my nieces and nephews. I'll go.
Nice.
Yep. So, yeah, I enjoy that stuff. Because I'm not a huge summer person. As many people know, if they follow me on socials, I complain about the bugs all the time. So, yeah. But
I mean, I've never seen you complain. I usually see your food pics.
Yeah, and I put them on Instagram, and then they'll get across. I usually tag it to my other socials. But yeah, yeah, I haven't made anything in a while. That reminds me. Gotta see.
What is it? What is Chef Holzman cooking for dinner tonight?
I don't know. I did make a cool meatloaf cordon bleu recently, which was good.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, stuffed it with ham and Swiss, and it was good. Came out pretty good. So yeah,
there's no pictures on that. I didn't see any pictures.
I did. I posted a picture.
I missed it.
I'll send it to you. I'll even send you the recipe if you want it. If you want to attempt, maybe you can smoke a meatloaf.
I've never smoked meatloaf. I do want to try it though.
Yeah,
it has been on my list. I actually have a rack of ribs I haven't smoked, and I got to get to that. That's my next objective.
That sounds wow. Just saying smoked meatloaf sounds very good. So
yeah, it's a thing. People love it.
Yeah, I think I would like it.
Lots of bacon. You need bacon on your meatloaf.
Yep, I put bacon on top. Yep.
Not that turkey bacon either. Real bacon.
No, real bacon. I tried the turkey bacon thing. I gave it an attempt to be a little healthier, but dude, it's nowhere near as good.
Oh yeah, no, that's all right.
You're right. It's okay, but I'm like just like you're lying to yourself. This isn't real.
I'll take turkey bacon over Impossible meat any day.
Yeah.
At least turkey bacon's turkey.
It's turkey. Yeah. That's true.
Right?
Yep, I agree. I've had Impossible meat. I think it tastes fine.
Shut your mouth. Don't give in to those goddamn vegans.
But I don't ever order it or look for it. I tried it just because I wanted to see what it was like.
You've been talking to Garrett too much. His vegan ways are rubbing off on you.
No, I have some. My niece is not vegan. She's vegetarian though, and
that's it. That's the first step.
So she's tried it, and she was like, "Yeah, Uncle Eric, try it," and I did. It's not bad.
Yeah, put a little salt on your sawdust, you're fine.
So, no, the Impossible stuff has the consistency of meat. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is weird. I agree. It's weird, but it wasn't bad. I just wouldn't ask for it. That's all. I prefer the real thing. Give me the beef. Beef.
Hey, you want the beef? Want some beef? Beef.
All right. On that note, let's end the
show. You can find me all over social media. Twitter, Instagram, Zack Snyder's favorite platform, Vero, Mastodon, Threads, Twindle, Witter, AIM. These are apps I haven't.
AIM.
Yeah. AIM. MySpace, LiveJournal, I don't know, whatever the pen pal. Tumblr. Oh God, remember Tumblr? Yeah. At Pete Illustrated. If you want to follow this podcast, which I assume you already do already, but it's at straight_O_G, straight out of Gotham. That's us. Check out our Facebook group and our Facebook fan page. A lot of great stuff going on there with the members. Lots of great Eric facts that are going on there. Check out our recent Twitter poll on where the statue of Eric should be erected. The parking lot of BDS Arena seems to be the only answer that everyone's waiting for. So check that out. I'm all over BatmanOnFilm.com, Batman on Film YouTube. I got Batman. Check out the Batman on Film podcast feed as well, because me and Bill did a social hour there talking about the Batman 2 rumors. Check out my Italian Spider-Man Coalition podcast, at Italians for Spidey. Ryan Lauer, the Batman Book Club, was recently a guest. Adam, everyone's favorite Stronzo, he's always on the show now, so that's great. Check that out. And that seems to be it. I think I got it all. Whatever I didn't cover, Eric sure will do. And he's a busy man, Holzman. He's got the 7 Seas. He's got the island all nicked up, straight out of Gotham. He's taken over Dallas. Is there anything that he doesn't do? Let's be honest.
It's a busy
time. The entire
time.
Gulf Coast might belong to Eric by the end of the weekend.
It's a busy time. It's a busy time right now. But yeah.
All you guys know where is if your mom's missing in Dallas, check Eric's hotel room.
Whatever. You guys know where you can find me. Twitter at Finally33, spell Finale33. As Pete mentioned, I have a show about the New York Knicks called All Nicked Up. So if you're interested in the Knicks and basketball, at all_Nicked_up is the Twitter handle for that. We record that show every Wednesday. Well, we don't record. It's a live stream every Wednesday night at 8:30 on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter. I think those are the 3 places I have it right now. So yep.
No Twitch yet?
No, I should though. I think Twitch probably has a good basketball following, just because I know type of people who are on it. So I should look into that. See how that works.
Did you play NBA 2K?
I know, that's what I mean.
I think it's a huge audience there.
It'd be very big. Yeah, be a very big audience to check that out there. So, yeah, I think that's all. Pete mentioned the Facebook group, guys. As you know, definitely interact with us there. Anything that we do on the show, we post.
We gotta get with what's his name.
Yes, we got to get with Andrew.
Yes, we got to schedule that. So we haven't forgotten about you.
We haven't forgotten. No, we haven't.
We haven't done any shows, just so you know.
Yeah, it's been scheduling and stuff has been rough the past couple of weeks. So we've kind of just been trying to record when we can. We were going to record last weekend, but we had storms here, and I didn't have internet for like 18 hours. So
basically, Pornhub crashed.
it was a long day. It's so weird when you don't have internet. You just realize how much you miss it.
What did it feel like? 1992.
I know. I mean, my phone, obviously, I have the network for my phone, but that was it. So, yeah, that's why we didn't do a show last week, guys. So, apologize for that. Yeah, and we still have to do our Gotham Knights show, Pete. We still have to do that live stream.
I'm gonna have to that means we're gonna have to rewatch it because I kind of forgot what happened. I forgot what I did yesterday. You want me to remember 13 hours of amazing television?
Is there a Cliff Notes that we can get on that? Some kind of Cliff Notes?
I'm more worried about you. Like, can you make it through? You
Oh, dude, I used to watch it first thing in the morning when I woke up from the night before.
Wasn't it? It's don't you miss it?
I will say I miss the absurdity. Yes, it was cool to kind of, the absurdity, the overacting. I miss a lot of that stuff, the craziness of it. But we definitely still want to do the show with Steve and Ryan Haas if he's still interested. We definitely want to do that show, so we'll work on that as well, guys. But I think that's it for this week.
It sounds like it.
Unless you have anything else to add.
Uxus.
There we go. So for Pete, I'm Eric. You're listening to Straight Outta Gotham, and we'll see you next time.
Booyah.